Beyond the 9 mountains and 9 forests lived a little girl who wore a red hooded cloak. People started calling her Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mother called her, "Little Red Riding Hood, Grandma is sick. Take her this basket of cakes and herbal tea. Be careful and stay out of the way." Little Red Riding Hood took the basket, put on her red cape, and went through the forest to Grandma's house. The road was winding and full of adventure. Birds sang, squirrels hopped, and the sun broke through the trees. Suddenly a wolf stood in front of Little Red Riding Hood. He had hungry eyes and a bright smile. "Where are you going, Little Red Riding Hood?" he asked kindly, even though he had evil intentions. "To my grandmother's house," replied Little Red Riding Hood. "I am bringing her cakes and tea because she is ill." "And where does Grandma live?" continued the wolf. "Outside the forest, in a cottage by the 3 oaks," revealed Red. The wolf locked his paws. "That's wonderful. Why don't you look at the pretty flowers by the roadside? I'm sure Grandma would be delighted if you brought her a flower." Little Red nodded and began to pick the flowers. The wolf ran to Grandma's cottage, knocked on the door and whispered, "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood." "Grandma," she called, "come in." The wolf ran inside, ate Grandma in one gulp, and put on her hat and glasses. He climbed into bed and waited. Little Red arrived at the door and knocked. "It's me, Grandma, Little Red Riding Hood." "Come in, little girl," came the wolf dressed as Grandma. Little Red entered, put down the basket, and walked over to the bed. But something was strange. "Grandma, why are your eyes so big?" "To see you better, little girl," the wolf replied. "And why are your ears so big?" "To hear you better." "And why are your teeth so big?" "So I can eat you," roared the wolf, jumped out of bed and pounced on Red. Luckily, a hunter was passing by the cottage and heard the scream. He broke down the door and roared, "Leave the little girl alone." The wolf was frightened and tried to run away, but the huntsman quickly overpowered him. Then he ripped the wolf open, and the grandmother jumped out of the wolf's belly, alive and well. The hunter tied the wolf up and took it away, back into the forest. He said goodbye to Grandma and Red and left. Grandma and Little Red sat down together at the table, ate cakes and drank herbal tea. Little Red promised never to stray from the path again, and to obey her mother. From then on, they all lived happily ever after. And the bell rang, and the fairy tale was over.